Hello everyone, Damien back here for a new video for 3.17 Arc Nemesis League. In this video I'm going to talk about how you can improve your Carrion Golem Necromancer Life version. If you remember in the previous video, I said that the big weakness of his build is elemental damage, and that is one of the reasons why I couldn't do Maven. Well, there is a solution to that problem. So if you don't want to switch to the aura stacking version, which solve the problem as well, because it's going to change a lot of things in the tree and probably going to cost more currency. You can just use this solution and stay life version based, and you should be able to clear the content like this. So the solution is very simple. We use one jewel, which is this one, Glorious Vanity, which is a Legion 5-way or 4-way jewel. And what it does is it transforms this node into Divine Flesh. You probably have to delete all of the nodes around if you use them, especially I think it's this one for minion damage because they become useless. It changes them into a way that you can't use it anymore. But what Divine Flesh does is that, well, all damage taken bypasses Energy Shield. We don't really care because we don't use Energy Shield. 50% of elemental damage taken as chaos damage, which means half of the damage is going to be on your chaos res. Half of the elemental damage you take is going to go to your chaos tankiness, basically. So obviously, if your chaos res is very low, this is going to one-shot you. So you need to have very high chaos resistance. And how do we do that? Well, Divine Flesh gives you plus 5% to maximum chaos res. So you would be at 80%. And then what I do is I use these two small cluster jewels with chaos resistance and Born of Chaos. Born of Chaos gives us plus 3% to maximum chaos resistance. So if I select one, we go up to 83, and I select the other one, we go up to 86, which is the maximum we can get. And it's actually enough. I don't know if we can get to 90, maybe, but yeah, that would be a little bit overpowered. So 86 is good enough. And so it's nice because you can choose cluster jewels with two passives. If your chaos res is high enough, you don't need to take the 3 nodes one. I did it because it gives 12, 12, 12, and 12, so it gives 48% to chaos res. If you don't need 48, maybe you just need 36 or 24. You can have 2 here and 3 here, or just 2 here and 2 here, 2 passives here. You know, it's up to your build and your gear. You need to adapt to that. And that basically solves the problem about elemental damage. I also took some node over here to get more life because I was very low. Yeah, because my gear is not very good. My helmet has no life. Here I have 83%. It can go up to 140. My gloves, I have 19 life and armor, and I crafted some life, so not the best, although not that bad. My boots are pretty good. My amulet is pretty good. This ring only has 36 life. This one has no life. 24 life. And yeah, so you can definitely get more life than I have and make the build really good. So here, the gems are the same. They are all level 20. Nothing special except Animate Guardian has to be 21, of course, to give him more life to make sure he doesn't die. Feeding Frenzy, well, it's not even 20, but it's okay. It's not gonna give that much more DPS anyway. Vitality, I'm using Immortal Call here. Maybe I will change to Molten Shell in the league, but I didn't have a gem, so I just put that one. Here I think you can change Impale for crit damage. It gives a little bit more damage, but you have to POB, so you need to try your Path of Exile to see what setup is going to give you more damage. You have to adapt to your own build. This is a setup that gives Flesh Offering and Assassin's Mark So you just put one brand on the ground and it's going to apply all of his curses and spells. If I delete as Flesh Offering, you will see the damage goes down by 1 million, and if I delete Assassin's Mark, it goes even lower. We go from almost 9 million to 6 million, so that's a lot of damage you lose. The problem with this setup is that it's going to consume a lot of mana, so if you're in a tough situation where you need to dash away, you might end up not being able to move because you don't have any mana. So what you can do is you can delete Precision here and put Assassin's Mark, which you will cast manually, and then you replace Assassin's Mark here by Life Tap. So this setup will consume your life instead of consuming your mana, and it will avoid that situation. You can just die because you couldn't dash away. So that can be a good solution. Of course, the damage went down because I didn't replace Assassin's Mark. Precision doesn't give a lot of damage. I mean, it's a gem you can use because it gives you a little bit of damage for pretty much nothing. You can just buy the gem from the vendor at level 1 and it's free damage, so that's why. But obviously Assassin's Mark is going to be much better. That's for sure. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for the gems. There's nothing special here. Vulnerability is because of your Animate Guardian, which is the same as before. And this is with no flasks active, of course. You are still at 90 face damage reduction, some armor, of course capped res and chaos res. And here I only have 4k life, but yeah, you should probably be able to get more during the league. I just did what I could with what I had. I didn't want to buy many stuff, a lot of things. Yeah. And for the items, I think they are pretty much the same. There is no changes except this is from my standard build, so some of the items here are a little bit different because you have to go with what you have, but everything is the same. This helm is really good because it was the only one I could buy in standard. I didn't find any other helm, but you don't need to have such a high level helm. This one is high level 86. I'll show you Craft of Exile here. Let's go with helmets, strength int. It's a bone helmet and it has Elder Influence. So the two mods you want on your helm are going to be tier 1, level 20 minion life, so your minions don't die. And a good bonus is to have plus 2 or 3 level of succeeding minion gems. But to get plus 3 you need an high level 86, and that's going to be a lot more expensive than if you just get an high level 80 plus. So I would say go for an high level 80, it's enough. You don't really need high level 86. Just remember that if your high level of your helm is not 86, you can only get plus 2, you cannot get plus 3. So when you are crafting, don't do the same as I did last league. I was like, I don't have plus 2, I'm so annoyed, I'm just gonna reroll and try to get plus 3. And then I destroyed my extremely good helmet and I replaced it with some mods that were not as good, and then I realized, oh, I just wasted my currency, I couldn't get plus 3. So yeah, you gotta make sure you do things, you check things around before you start crafting, or you can lose a lot of money. The way we craft this helmet is, let me find it first. Where is it? Bone helmet with Elder, and I would say only level 80 with no quality. It's okay. I think there are two ways you can go with pristine, because this mod is only pristine, this mod is life based, so pristine will give you a higher chance to get this mod. But if you want to get this mod and this mod, I think it's better to use a bound fossil, but not too sure. Let's try both. Bound fossil. Oh, that's super lucky. If I get that on the first try during the league, I will just keep it. +1 minion gems, 20 life, damage, cold res. This is pretty good. You can craft another res that you are missing here, so that would be pretty good, but it's just RNG. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one is also pretty good. You get minion gems, level +1 level, and level 20 minion life. It's pretty good. Let's try with pristine, that gives more life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it also gives you this mod, but I think you have less chances to get the +1 minion gems with this mod. But you will have more chances to get some life. So yeah, I don't know. I think bond fossils are more expensive, so it's up to you whether you choose this way or the other way. This way doesn't seem to be much better to me, but again, it might just be bad RNG. So to know exactly how many tries it would take you, you can just go around here and choose bond fossils. It says around 23 tries, and with pristine, where is pristine? Pristine, where are you? I can't see it. Oh, here. Yeah, it says 375 tries. So if you just want this this mod and you don't want this one, I think pristine is going to be better, only 7 tries. But if you want both mods, your bond fossil is going to be much better. So that's why last league I used the bond fossil, because yeah, the average is 23 tries. If you use both, I don't even know if it's better. I don't think so. So just bond fossils should be good enough. Let's try to make another one. Here you go, level 20 life +1 minion gems, some res and strength, which is useful. So yeah, that's how you craft this helmet. This helmet is very important because it's going to make your minions a lot stronger, and you can fit in a feeding frenzy, so you will not lose any damage. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to show you a video, because of course I tried to kill Maven with his build, just to show you that adding divine flesh is extremely powerful and you can kill Maven. And the thing I like about this fight, I'm going to lower down the voice here, the sound, is that I made so many mistakes, which is awesome, because for players who are not very confident about the fight, you will see, even if you make some mistakes, you can still kill Maven. And by a lot of mistakes, I mean, I think 4 mistakes or something like that. Let's see. Let's go a little bit faster here. Alright. Damage is pretty good, of course. You see, I got hit by these brained projectiles, but I survived. And then the first phase is done. Now it's the brain. The brain is always a very scary part, because if you have some bosses that are kind of like strong and you have 3 or 4 of them at the same time, it can be quite difficult. Actually, it can be harder than Maven itself. So, but in this case, yeah. As you can see, it's going quite well. Even the life goes down a little bit. You will probably not die. You can take a few hits before dying, so of course it allows you have a lot of room, a lot of space for mistakes. So that's the small memory game. Let's see. Okay, here I got hit but didn't die. But here, so this is the first mistake. So what happened is, let's go back a little bit. What happened is that these things that appear will leave a pool, a degeneration pool on the floor, and you want to get rid of that as soon as you can. And you don't want it to stay in an area that's going to be a problem for you later. So what I did is I came here to get rid of them, and then I was going to dash back to Maven, but I didn't see that the brain was doing his attack, and I dashed right into it. And this attack is extremely hard to tank. Even a very strong build will die. So you don't want to dash into that thing. So yeah, that's the first mistake. Okay, let's go a little bit further. I'm gonna put the things back and then go back into the fight. My aura's back, and then let's go. So you see here, she said a cascade of pain right away. I didn't even have time to be like, all right, let's go back into the fight. Let's see what's going on. She was already doing this cascade of pain, and she fires 4 projectiles that are extremely powerful, and I still didn't die. You see, you can take a few hits, you'll be fine. Without Divine Flesh, I would have probably died right there. So yeah, it's like you are just back into the fight and you get one shot. It's a little bit annoying. That's why it's better to have a build that is a little bit tankier, even if at the end you lose a little bit of damage. It's going to be a lot better than being squishy. And I think this league I'm going to be farming some bosses, so I definitely need a build that's a little bit better than the last POB that you saw. That one was not meant to farm bosses except Cirrus and Katarina, because I know the fights very well and I don't need a character that is that well rounded. Anyway, the brain phase can be a bit long because the minions are a little bit everywhere. They don't always just fire at the brain, sometimes they hit the mobs around, so it takes more time, but as long as you are tanky you will not die, so it's okay. I kind of want to show you the whole fight because this is kind of a fight you would have to do maybe the first time you try Maven, so you really want to know to know your limits, what you can do, what your build can do. Yeah, I also had a lot of lag, which was very annoying. I hope I will not have so much lag for league start. Okay, next phase. So now it's a bigger memory game, but it's going to be quite easy because there is nothing on the ground. Yeah, you also notice that this build that I made is a little bit faster. You run faster than my previous POB. It's because I have 30% on my boots, not just 20. So it's probably something you want to do as well. It's not going to be very expensive to get 30% movement speed on your boots when you are at this point in the game, especially because the endurance charges here will give you a lot of resistances as well, not just physical damage, they also give you elemental resistances, so it will be a little bit easier to gear up. So here I stayed in the beam, I don't know why. Yeah, it starts to be very laggy. The beams are always on these platforms, so as soon as you leave these platforms, you already know where the beam is going to appear, only on these platforms. So I should have known that. I was just not very focused. So here is very laggy, so I think I'm gonna die because of the lag. The brain is almost dead and it's going to become super laggy and I am gonna die. So that is something that can also happen on League Start with so many players playing, so if it happens to you, well, don't be too annoyed, you will still be able to kill Maven. Let's go a little bit faster here. Up, okay, back to the brain. Back into the brain like a zombie. Maybe my zombies are eating some part of the brain, that's why they're taking so long to kill it. I'm not sure. Not sure what they're doing. Zombies love brain, everyone knows that anyway. Alright, and this is the last part of the fight. So you're gonna go there. I think I make another mistake right here. Yeah, this fireball is also powerful, and I should have dashed away, but I didn't. So that's also my fault. Also, if you want to be even tankier, you can run Purity of Elements, and you will be immune to elemental elements. You saw on that one when I took the hit, I was ignited or burning or something. Oh, and here she also shot me twice and I didn't die. But I think later on I'm gonna die because, yeah, right here, see. So when she says a cascade of pain, you should start walking around and not just stay in the middle of the projectiles because these ones are very strong. Let's see how many did it take to kill me. 1, 2, yeah. Basically 2 projectiles and you are dead, especially if your molten shell is not up. It's gonna kill you a lot faster. Anyway, that's just my mistake. Again. So it's like 3 mistakes from me and then the lag. So I died 4 times just because of some silly things. And here I walked into the beam. Why? I don't know. But you should not do that. Also, there is one strategy with Maven is that if you just died and you know that the memory game is going to start soon, you just stay dead. Stay here. She will continue doing her own things. And then she will start the memory game. You just stay dead. You wait for the memory game to end. And then you resurrect in turn. You come back. And you'd have to, and this way you can skip the memory game. If you are not very comfortable with memory games and you're afraid to die, then if you're already dead, you just wait for the next memory game to be ending, and then you just resurrect in turn, come back, and you can skip that memory game. It will make the fight easier. If you're not very confident about the memory game, of course. If you're confident, it's okay. So here I walked around, so it did only hit me once, and she's dead. So you see, even with a very clumsy fight, I was not very good. I got some lag, so it was not a very good fight. I still killed her, and I still have like 2 portals left. So I didn't even flay. She's really good to kill Maven. Yeah, so the Atlas tree came out like I think yesterday, and this is pretty much going to be my Atlas tree. I am not sure about all these nodes here because this is going to be later late end game, so I'm not too worried about that. And there is also some here that I didn't really take. So what I'm sure I'm going to be farming is going to be heist, so heist and harvest. I'm sure I'm going to be farming these, and then for the rest, this is betrayal, which is a lot later, so I'm not sure if I'm going to take that. I took all of the correct nodes to sustain and to complete my maps faster, my atlas faster. I might take these nodes around here and some other nodes. I think they can help with maps. Maybe around here or some essences as well. I'm not too sure, but I'm very sure about this part and harvest and heist. I'm going to take that first, after the maps, of course. And for the rest, betrayal, I will see if I do it later. The bosses, I will do it only when I'm ready to run them. Because this league, even Cirrus, is going to be in through fragments. So if you get 4 Cirrus fragments, basically if you get a whole set, you can just keep it and run it when you're ready. You don't have to run it right away. And I also have some space here. If I want to go for some blight here or some blight here, I can still do that. So it's pretty much going to be my tree, but it's going to change probably quite a lot during the league because there are just so many things we still don't know about. And if you're wondering if Harvest is still as good as before, I think early game is going to be even better because a lot of these nodes here will give you more crafts. I compared the old Harvest and the new one, and we have more nodes than before, so we can have up to 21% chance to get an additional craft option, where before we only had 9. So it's basically the same as before, except you have like the equivalent of having 3 bountiful tier 1 watchstones. So I think early game is going to be even more powerful, and later end game we don't know because we don't have the mature watchstone anymore, which gives you the end game crafts. But we don't know. Maybe GGG made some slight modifications for this craft to be a little bit more less rare, although I doubt they would do that because it will make the crafting a lot stronger, and I don't think that's what they want. But who knows, maybe we will find a way to make the tier 4 seeds appear more often. I don't know. There's still many things we don't know about the game, I mean about the new league, so we will have to figure this out. And the last thing I wanted to show you was finally Ethan finally posted his league starter for Arch Nemesis League, and it's also going to be Carrion Golem. So you start with Skeleton, then Zombies, and then you move to the life version of Carrion Golem. And he also talks about this Divine Flesh, so this jewel, how to make your build tankier. He even has a build that is a lot tankier than this one. He is using Purity of Elements to be immune to elemental elements. But if you do that, your damage is going to go down by quite a lot. You're going to be more like around 5-6 million damage. And he also has more than 5k life, so there is maybe some damage nodes that I took that he didn't take. I think he's not taking these nodes here because if you just use Carrion Golems, it's not very useful. So he prefers to anoint this one. So he has all of his nodes are free, and you can go somewhere else to get some life here. You can get some life around here and stuff like that. So you can check his POB, you can check my POB, and it will help you to figure out things when you are actually playing the game in the league, because you always need to adapt your tree to the gear you have, to the currency that you have, and the way you like to play the game. If you want, like me, a character that has a little bit more offense, even though if it has a little bit less defense, then you can just look at my POB. If you want more defense, you can look at his anyway. And I think he's going to min-max the build, but I am not going to do that. As soon as I get to that point here, with Divine Flesh, with like 8 to 9 million DPS, I will be done with this build, and I will start farming something else, unless I find out that running bosses is really extremely profitable. Then I will try to make this build a little bit better so I can run them faster. Because you see on this video, it took me around 7 minutes to kill Maven, 7 to 8 minutes. And if you look at my Elemental Hit Raider build, I killed Maven in 3 minutes. So with this build, with my Elemental Hit Raider from last league, I can do 3 Maven, when this one I just run 1 Maven. So it's a lot less profit per hour, but at the same time, my overbuild costs about 3 mirrors when this one costs around 30 to 35 eggs. So yeah, it's very hard to compare. But if you want to make more money, being able to clear the content faster is a very, very good way. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Next, I'm going to be practicing this league starter because I want to try to get to maps within 6 hours. Right now, it takes me around 8 hours, and I think it's a little bit too long. I need to get better at this. So I'm going to have at least 1 or 2 practice runs to improve myself and hopefully make more currency. As always, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.